Hi, I'm Larry Formato, and welcome to Connected. And I have my beautiful sidekick, Leanne, with us today. Hello, Leanne.
Hello, Larry.
Say hello to everyone else.
Hi,
They don't
everyone
bite.
else.
Wave to them, There you go. So, Leanne, we're going to be talking about my book, Connected, today.
Absolutely.
And this is going to be part 2 of a very long series
Very long series. There is a lot
to talk
in
about.
this.
So, I think we left off, where did we leave off?
We left off when you were about to have the meeting with
The
Ray.
mating?
The mating.
Not a mating, Leanne. What the hell is a mating?
a meeting.
Meeting, okay, meeting. With who?
A meeting with Ray Delberry's boss. Mr.
Oh, John Engel.
Yeah.
And
And we left off and you said that if Ray could do that job, then you could do it better. And I tell you what, you were not kidding at all.
I wasn't?
No, you weren't. Because I know that you said in the book that you made in your first month $25,000
That's true. That's true.
just from cold calling clients.
That's true. So, I did. We had a phone book, and I would start at the top of the page, and I would call everybody on the top of the page, and I would keep calling and calling and calling until I finally got somebody to say yes. So, what I determined is it's a numbers game, right? So what a numbers game is, most people are going to say no, but you're going to find that one person to say yes. So if you call up 100 people and tell them you have an old shoe for sale, you're going to get 99 people that are going to say they don't want to buy it, but you're going to get that one person that's going to say yes just because they don't know how to say no, Leanne.
So how do you convince them to buy the old shoe?
Well, it's repetition. You don't stop talking until you get them to say yes.
You don't give up.
You don't give up. You never give up.
Nope.
And talk about not giving up. That's exactly what happened with me. It wasn't easy for me when I started in the brokerage industry. I hitchhiked every day to work, and I hitchhiked back, and I would get there sometimes at 7 o'clock in the morning, and I wouldn't leave until 11 o'clock at night. Ask me why, Leanne.
Why, Larry? Why did you work such long hours?
Well, because I wanted to be in the office before anyone else got there, because I didn't own a car and I had a hitchhike and I didn't want anyone to know I was hitchhiking. But the other reason was I didn't want anyone to hear me when I was cold calling. So I would get there early and make a few calls early, and then, just kind of shuffle my way through the day until everyone went to lunch, and then I would make more calls while they were all out at lunch. Ask me why I didn't go to lunch.
I know why you didn't go to lunch, and this is what breaks my heart, but why didn't you go to lunch?
I didn't go to lunch because I didn't have enough money to go to lunch. So when everyone asked me, hey, do you want to go to lunch? I'd say, no, I'm not hungry. And then they would go to lunch and I would just stay in the office. So I would stay in the office long after everyone was gone. They would leave at 4 o'clock and I would stay and make phone calls till 11 o'clock every night. And by doing that, I created a very huge clientele, a big client base that I didn't even know I had. I didn't even know what I was doing.
Yeah, well, didn't you ended up having the biggest client base even over the entire firm?
I did. I had the largest, they call it a book. I had the largest book of the whole firm.
How long did that take you to build up that book?
6 months.
If that's not determination, I've got no idea what is.
6 months. There was people working there for years in the business and they never had a book as big as mine. So yeah, it was determination because I wanted to make a lot of money.
You did. So you were at Mayflower, and then Mayflower was taken over by
First Jersey Securities, yeah.
So who ended up leading that team?
Well, Bob Brennan was the president of First Jersey Securities, and Brennan was my hero. I think Bob Brennan was the smartest guy in the over-the-counter penny stock business, hands down, ever.
What made him different?
He was a trailblazer. He knew how to take care of his top guys. He made sure that the guys that were making him money, he was going to make them money. And he treated all his top guys good, and the guys that weren't doing good, he didn't give a shit about.
So what did he end up doing for you?
Well, we had trips to the Bahamas as an example, where he flew all his top salesmen to the Bahamas. And it was there, actually, that I met a lot of the guys that I went on to do business with later in life. And everyone wanted to know who Larry Formato was. They all heard about me, but, they didn't know. They just knew I was some young kid that was, making a big name for himself in the penny stock business.
So who did you end up meeting there? High hitters?
Well, I met I met almost everyone. There was like 50 of the top people at the firm there, and then of course Brennan and his vice president and other people. But some of the key players, Dwyer Wedvik, who went on to work with me later on, and then
Peter Aiello.
Peter Aiello, Bruce Bermel, Don Messenger. They were all there, and it was an experience for me because these guys had all been in the business. They were seasoned brokers, and I was just some Johnny come lately that was fortunate enough to have a big clientele.
Yeah, but you could teach them a few things though.
Well, I did.
Now, Bob Brennan, you said that you looked up to him.
I did.
I'm questioning why, just for the fact that the SEC ended up chasing him.
Well,
First Jersey.
Yeah, that's true. But when you're on top, you're always going to have a lot of people looking at you, and of course, Brennan had the SEC, after him, all the time, and it reminds me of a story. Let me just tell you this story real quick. So I'm in Bob Brennan's office one day, and I'm with Peter Aiello, and we're having a discussion about the SEC. And lo and behold, who walks in but the SEC? So they tell Brennan that they're going to subpoena his books and records. So Brennan presses the button on his phone, and he calls his financial consultant, if you want to call him that, and has him come into the office, and he says to him, the guy's name was Freddie Ironman, actually, I remember his name. And he said to Freddie Ironman, he said, listen, I want you to give me a check. And he whispers in Freddie Ironman's ear, and Freddie Ironman comes back, and Brennan's got this check in front of him. And he turns the check around to the guys at the SEC. He said, here, you see this? And I'm looking at it. And I'm saying, what the frick am I looking at?
$1 million.
So it was a check made out for $1 million. And I thought that he was going to bribe these guys with the $1 million. He said, you see this check? I'm going to give this check to my freaking lawyers. Go ahead and fight me. We'll see who's going to win. So back then, Brennan had a bigger budget than the SEC.
Yeah.
These guys, all these little, task force that they had, they only had a certain budget. And Brennan's budget was much bigger. So they had these things called blue sheets. So the SEC would send these little blue sheets out to customers of First Jersey Securities. What did your salesman tell you? How did he sell you the stock? Were you happy with your stock? Were you blah, 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 and this and that and everything else? Well, you know what? Brennan had yellow sheets. And he sent them back to the same customers. And he said, what was your salesman like? Did you like your salesman? Were we courteous? Did we help you? Did we give you good advice? And so when the SEC presented their stack of 10,000 blue sheets, Brennan came in with a stack of 100,000 yellow sheets. So, Brennan was just like, he was smart. He was smart and he was rich. And he didn't give a shit about the SEC.
Did he ever do anything wrong though?
Everything. He did everything wrong in the eyes of the law. Nothing wrong in the eyes of stock promoters and penny stock guys.
So he had every reason for the SEC to come after him.
He had every reason. And, without, giving away a whole lot of things here, let me just say this about Brennan. Brennan never, ever went to jail because of anything that he did with stocks.
But he did go to jail?
He did go to jail.
What for?
Ah, I'm glad you asked, man. Bob Brennan went to jail for guess what? I don't know, Larry, what? Go ahead, try this.
Larry.
Guess what?
I'm on the edge of my seat. What did he go to jail for?
He went to jail for bankruptcy fraud. bankruptcy fraud, folks. Brennan had to file bankruptcy at some point in time. And so he went to Las Vegas, and he was caught cashing in $500,000 in chips that he had hidden in Vegas.
Right.
And guess who bailed him out?
Who?
Bill Parcells. You know who he was?
Wouldn't have a clue.
Hey, Mr. Producer.
Yes.
Do you know who Bill Parcells was?
Bill Parcells.
Yes.
Bill Parcells. He sounds like he was a game show.
All right, folks. You know this is what I got to deal with. She's from Australia, and he doesn't give a crap about football. So let me tell you, we all know Bill Parcells was the coach of the New York Giants.
Oh, okay.
And what other team?
Oh, the you know those guys, the big ones.
The Jets?
Yeah,
You're asking the wrong
the
person.
Bulldogs.
New England Patriots.
Oh, I was going to say that next.
New England Patriots. Anyway, so that's my little story about Bob Brennan. And what? What,
Was that
Leanne?
because you... So did you end up leaving after that? Is that why you started Excelsior?
No, I started Excelsior because one of the people that I met on my trip to the Bahamas was a guy by the name of Bart Barrick. And so Bart called me up. You know, I'm making a lot of money now, right? So I'm happy. You know, I like Brennan. Brennan likes me. You know, in my world, everything is good. You know, it wasn't too long ago where, you know, I couldn't afford to get to work. Couldn't afford to eat. Mm-hmm. You know, and now I got so much money, I don't know what to do with it all.
So you ended up putting $250K into a partnership with Bart.
How do you know that?
Because I read it in the book.
You read it in the book?
Yeah, I even took notes.
Cheater.
What?
So Bart Barrick called me and asked me if I wanted to go into business with him and open up our own brokerage firm. And, you know, it sounded enticing to me, but I was really kind of happy. You know, I'm a creature of habit. You know, I liked where I was. I was comfortable. But, you know, Bart made it sound a whole lot more enticing to me. So I agreed to do that. So I left First Jersey, and I opened up Excelsior Securities with Bart Barrick. And we both put up $250,000.
Wait, quick question. Do you get to take the book with you that you made at First Jersey?
I took my book with me.
Jeez, I bet they weren't happy about
They were
that.
not happy at all. They were not happy. In fact, Brennan used to send me pictures of guys with machine guns.
Do you happen to talk to them still?
No, I haven't talked to Brennan in quite a while.
Interesting. So you started Excelsior Securities with Bart.
Yeah.
Everything was going okay.
Everything was going great. We did it under our first IPO was Levin Computer, and we did it as a unit deal, 1 share of common stock and 1 warrant convertible into common stock. And we brought it out at $4 a unit. And then what we did is we separated the units, and we had them trade separately. So we made the warrants trade separately, and we had the stock trading separately. And it wasn't long after that IPO, and it was a very successful IPO, by the way. So it wasn't long after that I left the brokerage business unexpectedly, not because of anything to do with the SEC or anything to do with the business. It was for personal reasons I left. And so I was out of the business for about a year.
What did you do in that year?
Pretty much stayed home, took care of my kids, you know, spent a lot of time with them.
So obviously you got back into the business at some point. How did you get back into it?
Well, I'm going to go back to the Bahamas again. At the Bahamas, I met Bruce Burmell and Don Messenger. And so Bruce called me up one day. And you know what's crazy, folks, back then, you know, we didn't have cell phones. We had regular home phones, right?
Yeah.
So it amazes me because I think back now, like, how did we all stay in touch with each other? We didn't have emails, right?
If I had to communicate with my family back in Australia writing letters, I would lose it.
But I mean, you know, like I'm thinking like I probably moved like 3 or 4 times back then. Did my phone number move with me? I don't even know. But somehow or another, Bruce Burmell got a hold of me and asked me if I wanted to go back into the business. And he wanted me to go meet with Don Messenger. And I agreed to talk to him because, you know what, I missed the business. And I was at a point in my life where I was ready to do something. I was out shooting pool every day, drinking at night. I don't know. I was being a bum.
What would you?
know.
What were you doing at the pool tables? You weren't
Winning.
just.
I was winning.
So you were playing people for money. You weren't just playing pool.
Well, a little
for the
bit,
fun
yeah.
of it.
Listen, what Italian kid doesn't know how to play pool? Come on.
And what
You know.
Italian kid doesn't know how to work money?
Yeah,
either?
sometimes. So anyway, but let me tell you the cool part about this. So I decide to go into business with Don and Bruce. And we started a little financial company, DLB. Guess where the DLB came from? Let me see how good you are here. This is a
Don.
test, folks.
Oh, Don, Larry,
Don't look at your notes.
Bruce.
Ah, there you go. Don, Larry, and Bruce. DLB Financial Corp. So we started DLB Financial Corp. So I'm shooting pool at this bar, and the owner of the bar, A.L. Williamson, Walter Williamson, his brother owned A.L. Williamson and Company. How crazy is that? The guy that owns the bar, his brother owns a brokerage firm. So he knows that, I was in the brokerage business, and he said to me, hey, Larry, do you know anybody who wants to buy a brokerage firm?
That's one thing I've got to say. The one thing that I found through this entire book was that things would constantly fall into Larry's lap. All the time.
It just came to me,
Yeah.
So yeah, I know somebody who wants to buy a brokerage firm. Hello, I do, so I did, and I bought that brokerage firm, A.L. Williamson and Company, and Don, Larry, and I started A.L. Williamson and Company, and let me tell you, Leanne, what a ride that was.
I bet it was a ride. But just to go back to Levin Computing, because I know that something happened during that time. What happened, Larry? What did you do?
I didn't do anything. The stock came out at $4. We separated it.
Yeah.
I didn't do anything, Leanne, until I got to A.L. Williamson and Company.
Right, and then what did you do at A.L. Williams?
I am not going to tell you right now. You know why?
Because you're going to have to stick with us for the next episode.
That's exactly right. So you stay right here with us if you want to be connected. Hey folks, I just want to thank you for watching our show. Please subscribe and hit the like button so that we can always make you aware of all our new shows as we put them up for your viewing. And Leanne, I know you're going to tell everybody where to buy the Connected book, right?
Absolutely. Guys, you can purchase the book Connected from whitecollarpress.com or any other book outlet. Or you can also contact us at connectedwithlarry@gmail.com. And you can also purchase our beautiful t-shirts, our Connected mugs, and, you guessed it, our flash drives.
You know what, Leanne?
What, Larry?
For the first 5 people that write into connectedwithlarry@gmail.com and say, we love Leanne, I'm going to sign 5 books and send them out.
Guys, you have to do it. It's an amazing book. Like I've said before, I'm not really a big reader, but this book had me on the edge of my seat every single page. So make sure you email Larry or even comment below, and the first 5 people to comment or email will get a free signed book of Larry's. So go ahead and do it, guys, and also remember to like.
Stay right here with us if you want to be connected.
Lots of people made money before me, and lots of people came after me, but I was the only one who introduced organized crime into the world of the penny stock market, and we owned it.